So as I mentioned yesterday, my father is name-checked in John Hodgman's new book, Vacationland, which is about Maine, and I got excited and I almost called him up to tell him about it. Probably someone's told him by now. But then I figured I should at least read it first, or read the passage before I pass it along. So I went on Amazon to their preview section, typed in my dad's name, and it came right up. It's actually shocking how much they preview in those things. And as I feared, it's not entirely or even at all positive. I mean, he gives Maine humor a gentle ribbing, and he's not wrong. You know, I can't be objective. I grew up around that stuff. And again, it's a gentle. I'm glad he's not a more abrasive comedian with an abrasive fan base. Otherwise, I'd be concerned that this is how my dad's getting exposure in a widely circulated book. But it's more that he uses my dad as an example of what problems he has with Maine humor. But he uses it as a setup for, a self-deprecating joke, so, fair enough. But and he also mentions my dad's book, A Moose and a Lobster Walk Into a Bar. He doesn't say it's his book, he just gives it as an example of the kind of thing you'll find at a Maine gift shop in the humor section. But he refers to a bit my dad did on a CD, which I have no memory of. The CD's more recent. For years and years, he had a vinyl record. I remember that very well. I listened to that a lot. The CD, I don't remember when or if I heard that, but it begins with a bit where he talks about how you shouldn't expect to laugh from me. It's so dry that you won't be aware of if there's any amusement, you won't be aware of it, which itself is a joke, and if I recall correctly, he kills with it. But anyway, he says, this is my problem with Maine humor, is that I find this to be lazy, and also that's my thing. This is what Hodgman says. And, fair enough. Don't know how my dad's going to feel about it. He's like me, he takes things in a weird way. But, I mean, the kind of thing that my dad does is, it's more in line with, what Mark Twain did. The traditional get up on stage, you tell stories. It's not, I don't think it has any real relation to stand-up comedy as it exists now. I think that comes more out of vaudeville. I mean, its earliest beginnings, what it grew out of. Because when my dad performed, he would perform with people who play traditional folk music, jugglers, these forms that go back centuries. That's what I grew up around. That's why I have an appreciation for that kind of like vaudeville show businessy type of stuff. It's definitely informed the type of stuff I like to do, and also like a storyteller as curator, someone who collects stories from everywhere, but gives it a very specific rural spin, or spin from wherever they're from, and that can certainly clash with a lot of comedians get very proprietary about comedy in general, really, because certainly if you make your career out of comedy, the only way to judge something is based on laughter, but that's inescapably a free market way of looking at it, of judging the merit of something. I mean, how else do you judge comedy? By else whether people laugh or not? But at the same time, it's like it's inescapably, you're judging it based on the whims of people, and And again, if you live and die by laughter, then that's a perfectly legitimate way to judge. It's the only way you can judge. But I don't know. Like a lot of comedians, they really have a chip on their shoulder about anyone else who calls himself a humorist or does anything funny in any other medium, I say, who the fuck is this guy to call himself a comedian? There's a little bit of... But as I said, Hodgman has a more gentle style. It's not like he's saying, who the fuck is this guy? But nevertheless, yeah, it's still good. It's still cool. It's cool that he bought, presumably he bought my dad's CD and actually gave it a listen. That's cool to hear. I mean, not that it certainly doesn't affect me now I'm out of college, but oh well.